This place is Strážnice in the Czech Republic. Behind me is Slovakia, not very far from here. And not very far also is the Austrian border with Slovakia. So I'm driving in a north direction and I came through here. The gates you see in front of you are from the 16th century, and let's walk into this town because there's only around 6,000 people who actually live here, but it's got so much and it's really quite a pearl, I would say, and one of a type you frequently find travelling around in the Czech Republic. As you approach on the south, you've got the address of the tourist office, might be worth a visit, Vinohradska 35, and coming in this way, you've got these low squat houses, some of them quite well decorated, and this style you can see in a number of houses. And now, mid-April, the trees are in bloom, which is quite pleasant. Now it's an attractive place for those of us who pass through, but I wouldn't like to live here with the constant racket of cars going through, which seems to be echoed. I can't explain that. Maybe it's the same everywhere, or maybe it's due to the shape of the houses. Now this is the house where Jan Kamensky lived as a boy, 1605, and in the square we can see his statue. Here we have a chapel, quite a small one, but with a very large tower. So in front of us we can see the parish church, well in fact the tower of the parish church of St. Martin. We'll see the church in a few moments. Now it's a Saturday night, so people might be out celebrating the fact, although so far it's quite quiet. Monastery Church of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. It'll be closed now though, being a Saturday night. Be open tomorrow though, should anybody be interested. And you can see who studied here from 1864 to 1865. The gentleman who started the Czech Republic, the founder of the Czech Republic, or Czechoslovakia I should say, sorry. That was put up on the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Czech Republic, so that would have been either 1968 or 69. And there we have a better view of the church and tower. There's a pedestrian street behind it, and my vehicle is there. And walking in this direction, we come to the main square, which is quite magnificent in its size. Market Square. Less than 6,000 people live here. See how big it is. Which shows that once it must have had a greater importance than today as a town. Now the town hall is on the left. On this building here we have these murals, and here we have one which dates to socialist times and is quite ironic today in many ways. So there we see the Red Army, got the Soviet flag, and the people happy to greet them. Here we see what appears to be a hen and people in traditional peasant dress. Can't think of many places with such a large market square as this, for the size. If you know any, put the names down below. I can think of one or two off the top of my head, but there's not many places. And we see people at the festival dancing and enjoying themselves. That building is the hotel school. There we have the statue I mentioned earlier, and on the right hand side there's a statue of Masaryk, the son, who fell out of a window after the Soviet occupation. Of course he was pushed, but there's no proof of that. And there we have the town museum, and behind it there's an entrance to the synagogue, and in the Jewish cemetery here there's more than 1,000 tombstones, matzeve. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go back to my vehicle, and because it's now parked in the centre and they might be out celebrating tonight, so I don't want to be in the centre of that, and go to the castle. And the park has one or two outstanding features as well, so I want to see them. And so there's my vehicle. So I'll take it towards the castle, which is a kilometre from here, according to a sign I saw, and I'll park it there. Here we have the Batów Canal, which in a part at least makes up the border with Slovakia. I noticed that as I came over the border today. And what a difference between Slovakia and the Czech Republic. Now here we can see the church, well, the two churches. And we see the sun is going down. On the left hand side there's a museum. Now I'd call this a folk museum. It shows how the countryside was, and what they do, there's a number of these in Central Europe, is that they take houses and other buildings related to agriculture and the way of living that people once did, and then they bring it all to one place and then they turn it into a museum. And that, so we can see what this is. Jehovohodní Moravu, I think is the pronunciation in Czech. So that, I think, is the museum, folk museum of southeast Moravia. That's my guess. I can't speak Czech, but I can understand when they speak slowly. Now I brought my van down here on the left. You can see my van over there. And the point of that was, this seems a much quieter place than what down there could potentially be. I don't know there's going to be a racket, I'm just guessing from experience. In October 2014, we parked in the main square of a village. Something I'd wanted to do many times. This was in Machowice in Poland. And that night Poland was playing Germany. and Poland won. And the noise till 3 or 4 in the morning, I hardly slept. My then girlfriend though slept through it all. Oh, there's a campsite here as well. See that there? The word Skansen is how I would describe a museum of the folk museum. Although I don't think that word's used in English. It is used in other languages though. And here's the castle, and it seems to be still open. So there we have a map and the rules. So you see, no dogs, no cycling, no cars, no fires, and no shooting anybody. I'm glad to see you're not allowed to shoot anybody in here. I'll feel much safer now. The castle dates to the 13th century, although it has been rebuilt since. And this park has the longest plain alley in Central Europe. Now I apologise for it being dark, but this is what happens when I travel throughout most of the day. So I slept last night near Gleisdorf in Austria. I drove here along the smaller roads. So obviously from Gleisdorf to Heath, if you took the motorway, you'd be here much quicker. But I like to see things unless I'm in a hurry. And so I got here and it is a bit late. So it'll be a bit dark. And perhaps even a bit unclear. I also apologise for the quality of the camera. My camera, the normal one, gave up the ghost. This is my telephone. But I think for a telephone, it's pretty good quality. I get the impression this is quite a popular meeting spot as well. Let's hope there's been no singing, because I think I'll leave my vehicle where it is. Turn this around, have a look at the castle. I think castle's probably not the right word in English. I think we should say palace rather than castle, because it's no longer a castle as we know, but rather a manor house. The campsite as such is on the right. There's the campsite. Opens on the 1st of May, stays open till the end of October. Pekana, which I think means bakery. Although it looks rather small for a bakery to me. But what I think they mean by campsite is not what I understand, that is to say for motorhomes. I think this is staying in these country houses or to put it another way, sheds. As I come back to my van hoping to get some peace and quiet, it mightn't be so quiet here as I'd hoped. Don't know what that humming sound is. "8:30 in the morning, other people have arrived. Wonderful day. And there was a little bit of singing last night. I was so tired I didn't notice. Went to sleep with the computer on my knees. Woke up at 11 o'clock, turned it off, went to sleep, and woke up at 6 in the morning. So that was quite late for me. Now we saw this view by night. Here it is by day. Outstanding. That's the other side of the canal, and the park is on both sides of the canal. Restored synagogue. The Jewish cemetery dates to 1647, and there's over 1,100 stones here. So we can see that the museum here is open from 8 until 11. Except on Sundays, when it's from 1 in the afternoon, 1 p.m. until 5 p.m, 13 to 17. Oh dear. I think it's a bit silly having tourist related things closed at the weekend. Sort of reminds me of the Soviet Union, where restaurants closed for lunch. And this is back to where I was last night. You can see on the shrine the same floral pattern, or similar one, to those on the houses. And there's the palace during the day. And here we have a brief look at the Museum of Rural Life, the Skansen. And there's quite a lot to do here on a cultural basis. So you've got a museum in the castle, which I think is of musical instruments. And there's the synagogue, museum in there. And there's lots of things to do here. Walks along the canal, you probably rent a boat. I think this is a very interesting place. Very glad I came here. I'm going to have to be on my way because I was supposed to be in Łódź today, but I'm not going to make that. I would have visited the Skansen, but I've got no Czech money and I can't be bothered with negotiations trying to get in. Trying to pay with euros or something, or pounds. So, or Polish currency. So I'll be off. But this is really a very nice place to visit. Unfortunately, timekeeping isn't one of the strong points here. It clearly says there 9 o'clock. Today's a Sunday. There we are, Sunday, 9 o'clock. And it's April. There you go, April. Sunday, 9 o'clock. And that's how much it costs to get in. 80 crowns, which is just over 3 euros. No, in fact, it's about almost exactly 3 euros.